Alright, so virtual reality and gaming. What is virtual reality? VR. Also known as VR. So VR consists of many different technologies that together allow the user to experience a realm that is completely different than their current environment. However, this technology is extremely experimental and has the possibility to grow and change normal life as we know it. So how does VR work? To understand how VR works, one must first understand each core technology behind virtual reality, which has 4 core systems that make it immersive. Now, I'm not saying all these are needed to make a VR headset, but these are kind of the base level to make a really immersive VR headset. So 1, you have eye tracking, 2, you have head tracking, 3, you have motion tracking, and 4, you have headset construction, like the actual headset construction. So first we're going to look at eye tracking. So interestingly, eye tracking technology is one that most people will not realize is taking place if the tech is made correctly. This is because the technology is designed to imitate normal eyesight. So its goal is to be unnoticed. Basically, eye tracking utilizes infrared sensors to track what the player's eyes are looking at in-game. After the system decides what the players are looking at, the system sharpens that object in the viewport and blurs everything else to imitate how our eyes see the real world. This is why eye tracking is hard to notice. Head tracking. Head tracking uses technology like gyroscopes, to record how the player's head turns. This allows the player to look up to see the sky and down to see the ground. Moreover, this prevents the immersion from being ruined by looking up to see the sky and still seeing the ground below you. Motion tracking. Motion tracking is a technology that records your position in the real world and allows your in-game self to move the same amount. This can be done with infrared sensors or infrared lasers, treadmills, or a variety of other implementations. The overall headset design. The headset contains a computer like any other gaming system. However, it also has 2 compact lenses that allow it to create an immersive environment. The 2 lenses display the same virtual environment at 2 slightly different angles, which mimics how we see the real world, and also that allows us to see depth in the game. Moreover, the 2 screens are used to simulate our normal vision, how our normal vision takes 2 images from each eye and creates a single image from them. If the system used just 1 screen, our brain can tell that it was just a screen in front of us without depth. That's why we use 2 to trick our brain into, if we use 2, then our brain thinks we're seeing normally, and so it tricks us. So besides the essentials, which we just went over, the headset, to make the headset possible, there are many gadgets that can be added to enhance the player's experience in VR. Among these are haptic gloves, 360 treadmills, and hand recognition. Now, these are not all of the things you can add to make VR better, but these are kind of the ones that are most prominent. So haptic gloves. Haptic gloves are wearable gloves that take the place of the controller in VR games. So in addition, these gloves allow you to feel objects in game by controlling how much you can close your hand. So these are going to be basically make it more immersive because, you know, you can feel like you're holding an apple or a sword instead of it just being thin air in front of you. So another innovation is you have 360 treadmills. So 360 treadmills allow the user to actively move in real life and apply that motion to VR avatar, their VR avatar. Moreover, these also are great for promoting fitness. 1, because your in-game physical stats are dependent on your real-life physique, and 2, having to walk, run, and jump in-game is great exercise for all players. And also, as the name entitles, they can pivot in a 360 degrees, so you can turn all the way around while being in one of these. So then we have a hand tracking. So hand tracking is kind of the opposite of haptic gloves. So hand tracking is another alternative to controllers or haptic gloves. Furthermore, some new VR headsets have the ability to track hands. The game uses its exterior camera to record your hand position in real life and transfer that hand and finger position into the VR world. Therefore, the immersiveness of the game is increased because it allows the player to interact with just their hands, which eliminates the need for controllers or, like I said, haptic gloves. So those are the current kind of add-ons / innovations of VR, but you also have a lot of mentioned in news and the internet future innovations that are coming to VR. So in the coming years, VR has numerous projects that would very well revolutionize the entire industry. Some of these consist of the following: more realistic VR headset displays, holographic lenses for VR headsets, haptic suits, and Elon Musk's full dive. So more realistic VR headset displays. Currently, a more realistic VR display is in progress. The resulting screen are aiming to hit 60 pixels per degree and a 8,000 pixel per inch display. This is because they're aiming to recreate the resolution and range of human sight. Holographic lenses for VR headsets. So one of the leading problems with current VR headset designs is that they are bulky. It's like a brick on your face. Therefore, a new prototype lens is in the works. The new lens is a holographic lens and uses an algorithm of how incoming light would bounce off a real lens if it were there, and then takes that data and emits light to imitate a real lens. But this new lens is just a holograph. There's not an actual lens there. Next innovation is going to be haptic suits. There are prototypes of these, but definitely not, cheap wearable ones that anybody can get their hands on. Haptic suits are full body suits that allow the player to feel everything from a hug to a bullet shot. These suits are skin tight and are riddled with wires both inside and outside the suit. So the next, this one is rumored. However, there's a lot of. This one would be revolutionary if it did come to pass into like this normal society's hands. So Elon Musk's full dive is a rumored VR device that would allow an individual to actually enter the game as if it were a highly realistic dream. This software is a rumor because of his work with Neuralink. Neuralink and Musk are trying to create a brain interface technology which could cure diseases of the brain. However, the same technology seems to have the possibility to create a new type of VR that would allow the user to experience the game like a high quality dream. And so on the right, that's the size. That is one of the Neuralink chips they have created, so it's extremely small. And it's supposed to just be able to interface with the brain is the goal of this. It's a little bit of a scary concept. So in conclusion, so all over the world, individuals brainstorm and create new ways to create virtual reality technology. They accomplish this by studying the fundamental mechanisms of the technology, adding to the current versions, and shooting for future innovative approaches. Also, because of the intensive interest in VR, it may become the leading platform in not only video games, but also communication. So thank you for listening to my presentation, and I will see you next time.